Okay, so now in this position here Pythol pushes e4 so that he can activate his knight. And guys, let's say if black decides to capture on e4 with the f pawn, now after comes knight takes e4, but bishop to d4 check, king to h1, knight to d6, putting pressure over the knight on e4. So let's say if knight takes e5, knight to f5. I mean, there is no need to capture this knight, and I know it looks might strange, but yeah, because obviously this rook is more important. And let's say if this knight goes to e4, bishop takes e4, and obviously white cannot capture this bishop due to the threat of knight to g3 check. So that's why queen to b3 check is now forced. Queen to d5, queen takes d5, bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5 check, king to g7, and then rook to f3. And although black pieces are more mobile, but this position is still equal because of these amazing bishop pairs and this active rook. Okay, so in the game after the move e4, yeah, so here Tal plays bishop to e6. He simply defends his bishop, and now comes queen to c2, and you can see now he is targeting this pawn on c5, as well as he is also putting some pressure over the f5 pawn. But Tal brings his queen to h4. He just targets this weak f4 pawn. And guys, in this position here the best move for white is to capture this f5 pawn. Why? Because after bishop takes f5, let's say if he decides to attack this queen, then bishop to e4, asking for bishop exchange. And let's say if he gives a check, king to h2, bishop takes e4, knight takes e4, and now you can see here white successfully neutralized the attack of black. But in the game after the move queen to h4, so here Pythol makes a mistake with knight to b3. And basically his idea is to open the diagonal of this dark square bishop so that he can guard his f4 pawn. And then also now he's also going to target this pawn on c5. But the problem with that move is here Tal prepares a deadly trap for Pythol. I mean, in this position, first of all he takes on e4 with f takes e4. And as you can see, since this bishop is attacked, so just bishop takes e4. And guys, in this position, Mikhail Tal sacrificed his knight with knight to g5. What a move it is! And obviously one thing is clear, that if Tal has sacrificed this knight, then there might be some catch. So let's say if white understands his plan and he decides to play any another move, like to defend this bishop. Let's say if he defends his bishop on f3, this is also not going to work, because now Tal here calculates a sequence which is knight takes f3 check, rook takes f3, c4 attacking the knight, and if knight to c5 attacking the bishop, but bishop to d5 attacking the rook, and after rook goes to f1, bishop to d4 check attacking the king and this knight, and after this king moves, then just bishop takes c5, and you can see here black will be a piece up with a completely winning position. And let me go back. Yeah, so here another possibility comes after this move is to guard this bishop to d3, but there is also a problem with that. I mean, here Tal also calculated a sequence, and I know some of you might be guessed of this move, which is c4, which is also possible, but here I mean, there is something even better, which is knight takes h3 check, completely opening the white king. The idea is after g takes f3, h3, then queen to g3 check, queen to g2, queen takes d3, attacking the knight. And let's say if knight takes c5, then again the same threat, bishop to d4, and in the next move white has to lose his knight. Okay, so in the game after knight to g5, here Pythol basically decides to grab this knight. And guys, now Tal executes his plan. First of all, he takes on f1 with a check, and after Pythol recaptures, rook to f8 check. So he defends with the bishop. And guys, in this position, the final move by Tal is bishop to c4 check. And in this position, Pytel resigned. This is because, let's say if he decides to slide his king to g1, queen to e1 check. So only move is king to h2, but then bishop to e5 check. And after g3, let's say, then bishop takes g3 check, king to g2, bishop to f1 check, king to h1, and now, bishop takes h3, and that's a mate. I mean, just look at this crisscross applesauce mate. What a game, guys. Seriously, I still wonder how anyone can find these level of moves. Obviously, Tal can. Like this video and I will see you in the next one. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.